Hey guys, it's Steve here. Today I'm going to show you how to create a basic listing from scratch. So you only want to be doing this if you've got a private label product, i.e. a product that's never been on the marketplace before, that you're branding yourself. Because if you're doing online or retail arbitrage, or you're sending in products that already have an existing presence on Amazon, then that's a different process. So there's different videos for that. This is just for creating a listing from scratch. So let's get started then. So once you've got logged into Amazon Seller Central, you want to hover over to the top left bars here, over to Catalog, and you want to click on the first option, which is Add Products. Once that loads, that takes you to the Add a Product screen. Now, if you just scroll down to the bottom left-hand side of the page, the thing that we're looking for is, if it is not in Amazon's catalog, create a new product listing. Okay. So if you click on that, that will open up the wizard to create your product. So first thing we need to do is classify it. So I'm going to just make up a private label just for this demonstration. So let's say that I have decided to private label a hose pipe. So I need to make sure that I put it in the right category. So I know just by common sense, it's probably going to be in garden and outdoors. But then, as you see, as you click on the main categories, you then get all the subcategories. So a quick way to do it is if you just go onto the Amazon website, just click on something like hose. So go to the search bar and do something like hose pipe. Put in a keyword that's similar to your product. That'll bring up obviously a list of similar the products using that keyword. So let's say my private label looks something like this product. Then what I want to do is see where this product has been categorized. So the way I do that is if I scroll down, there's a section that looks like this here. It's additional information. It's about halfway down. So you're looking for usually under the customer reviews, so the Amazon bestsellers rank. So we can see this particular type of hose pipe is 419 in garden and outdoors, but you can see that it's also number 2 in watering sets. So this is the subcategory. So if I click on the actual hyperlink for the subcategory, and then on the left-hand side, I can see exactly how it's mapped out. So we can see that it's in garden and outdoors is the main category. It then goes to gardening. It then goes to watering equipment, and then finally watering sets. Okay, and that'll be the same for whatever product that you're listing. So if I go back into my Amazon, so it was garden and outdoors, and it was then you can see watering equipment. So let's see if that's here. Okay, so sometimes you might just have to do something like gardening. There we go, watering equipment, and then watering sets. So once you keep going through the subcategories, eventually get to like the final one, and it'll give you the option to select it. So don't panic too much about this process, because Amazon will move your product around different categories depending on where it thinks it will sell. But we just want to put it in the most sensible one for now. So once you've done that, you just click on select, and then we'll just let that load. Okay, so what that's done is it's going to put in each category will have certain information. It might be unique to that type of product. Maybe some safety information, like for toys. If you were listing toys, for example, you have to provide like additional safety certification. So, but generally, it's going to be the same layout for each different type of product. So this is what the screen we come to next, to put in our vital info. But before I do that, I just want to click on this button here called Advanced View. Okay, and just gives me a few more options to use. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is a product ID, and this is going to be your barcode, either UPC or EAN code normally. And literally all you need to do is take your code and just copy and paste it. Usually you'd buy them from a reseller who sends you your barcodes on an Excel document, and you literally just copy and paste. So I'm just going to make up a number for now. That's just me typing in randomly. And then if you do the drop down here, you have to select which type it is. So it's usually going to be EAN or UPC. If you're not sure, if it doesn't say in your documentation, just put EAN and that should be fine. You'll get a message to say that the validity of the ID will be checked against the GS1 database. So GS1 is the company that manages all the barcode numbers internationally. So there's just a little warning. So you can click on "Don't show this again" and got it, just to acknowledge that. So then you've got a couple more other sections we need to fill out. So you'll notice that some of these sections will have a red star next to the title of the section, and the box that we can put type text in is also highlighted red. And what that means is that it's compulsory information. We can also see which sections of the listing need compulsory information by this red exclamation mark in a triangle. If you don't fill out that essential information, you won't be able to save and finish. You can see here that the save and finish button is currently disabled. So we need to at least do these things first before we can save and move on. So the item name, also known as the title, eventually you'll want to add your high-end keywords into your title. But for now, just to get us started, you can just put something basic. So I'm just going to put water hose. And then you can see that the red star and the red box is gone now because I've put in the information in the compulsory field. So the brand name and the manufacturer, you just want to put them as whatever brand that you've decided to sell your products under. So I'm just going to make one up now. Ecom Products Limited. It doesn't matter if you've got a company name, use that. If you're just self-trader, then just you don't have to put just your name. You can put a brand name that you've made up. That's absolutely fine. You can always come and change it later as you expand your brand. The manufacturer, some people put the actual manufacturing plant where you got your products made, but I tend to just put the same name as my brand name. If you think about brands like Kellogg cereal, and they have different like sub brands like cornflakes or Cheerios or whatever it may be, then the master brand the manufacturer would be, I don't know, Kellogg's, and the brand name would be cornflakes, for example. So most people, when they first get started, won't have like all these different sub brands set up, so it's absolutely fine for them both to be the same thing for now. Okay, so moving on, if you've got a particular your product has a particular color, then obviously you want to just put it in this section here. So the color, I'm going to say I've got a green hose pipe. And there we are, and then it gives me the option to select green. The color map as well, this confuses some people sometimes, but this is basically the most basic form of whatever color I've just put here. So what I could do if I wanted to is call it mint green. But the color map is the more basic color, which obviously is green. So if I start typing GR, then it gives me that option. This just aids the search engine because it's not going to necessarily know that mint green is a type of green. So that just helps with the search engines. That's all that means. But you don't have to come up with some sort of fancy name for your color. Green would be absolutely fine. If your product has a particular size, then you can enter that here. You can obviously see it's not compulsory at this stage, so we don't have to fill it out. The size map looks very much like the color map, but it tends to be more for boxes or clothing. You can see you've got like XXS for extra small, small, etc., etc. So if that doesn't really apply to your product, you can just leave that as it is. So that's all the sections filled out in the vital info section. So if I go to variations, So if I decided to have different colors as an option for my customers to buy, so for example they could buy maybe a green one or a blue one or a pink one, then I could do a variation theme for color, and then set it up that way. So I'll probably do a separate video for variations, because you just got to set it up slightly different, but this is what this section is for. So we don't need to, I'm just going to sell a green one for now, so I'm not going to bother with any variations. So I'll just move over to the next tab, which is offer here. So you can see that I've got some compulsory information I need to fill out. Now, you'll notice that with this section, you do have the option to skip the offer data and add it later. And what that means is if you're not 100% sure of the price right now, it just means that you're acknowledging that you need to add a price, but you don't have to do it right now. So I've got an idea how much I want to sell my hose pipe for, so I'm going to just put $19.99. The seller SKU I can leave blank. Amazon will generate one for me, so you don't need to fill one of those out unless you absolutely want to. The sale price is if you wanted to put on a temporary sale. So for example, if I wanted to, my usual selling price is $19.99, but I wanted to have a special sale of $14.99 for a week, maybe just to drive up some sales and increase my BSR score. But you have to show Amazon that you've had history selling the higher priced item. So that would be something you could do later. If I put $14.99 now, Amazon would probably recognize that I've never sold it at that price, and I'm trying to just manipulate to make it look like a better deal than it actually is. So I would leave that for now. When you're starting off with a new product, you can always do something like this later. Product tax code we don't need to worry about. The condition that we do have to change, so it is more likely you're going to be sending it brand new, so you just click on new, and then that fills that out. Everything else here tends to be only filled out if you're doing fulfilled by merchant, but we recommend selling fulfilled by Amazon, so you don't need to fill out any of these options, because Amazon will deal with all the logistics. So the only thing I need to worry about here is the fulfillment channel. So you just need to make sure that the second option is filled out, where it says Amazon will dispatch and provide customer service. So just make sure that's selected. Okay, so scroll back up to the next tab. This is compliance. Now, unless your product is electronic or is a battery or contains batteries, you won't need to fill this in. It's just some extra information that they want to help work out how safe your product is, basically, when it's being transported. So again, if you don't have electronics in your private label product, then you can skip this part. You can see nothing's compulsory here. So we move over to images, and then you'll be able to see how you upload your product images. So if you've got these already, then great, you can start uploading them, but we don't have to fill this out straight away. You'll see that you've got a section here on the top left for your main image, and it tells you here what your the requirements are for these images. So with a main image, you can only show your product on its own. You can also include any accessories that come with it, but that's it. You can't show like logos, or you can't have it like modeled in the background. So I couldn't, for example, have it in a back garden for my main image. It's got to be against a clean white background. So again, just have a quick read through these sections here to tell you what you can and can't do. The other image slots you'll be able to fill up. So Amazon UK at the moment allows you to display up to 7 images, so you can fill out, you can add an image for all of these top row, and then this one, and then you've got your 7th one is your main image. It does give you the option to add an 8th or 9th one, but it won't display, so don't worry about filling that. Again, if your product is electronic, you can also include the energy guide label and the product feature. So that's just information to show how energy efficient it is. So if your product isn't electronic and you don't have that information, then obviously don't put anything there. So moving on to the description. So these are going to be one of some of the main areas that you'll be trying to sell your product to the customer. So your product description is not normally read by a lot of people because it tends to be featured towards the bottom of the page, but some people do read it, so we do want to make sure we can appeal to them. The other people that will see it more is mobile phone users. The product description tends to be a bit more prominent. So again, it's really important to make sure that it looks nice. So with your product description, you'll want to put in your top keywords, which we're covering in another video, and you want to make sure that they're written in English, in like a easily readable English, so that it's comprehensive. Amazon don't want to see you stuff your keywords into these sections, so just make sure that it reads like nice and natural. But we'll cover the descriptions and things like that in another video. So the next section is the key product features. They're also called the bullet points. So once you've filled out a line of your bullet point, you click on add more here and it'll give you another one. And you can do that up to 5. You can add that to 5. You can see it won't let me add any more. So you do want to use all 5 of those bullet points. Most people will make the decision whether they're going to buy your product or not based on those bullet points. So it's important you get those right. And again, that's going to be covered in a future video. For the UK, you won't need to fill out a legal disclaimer description, so you can leave that blank. So we'll move on to keywords. So I already mentioned about writing keywords in your main sections. So what you might find is if you've got keywords that aren't as popular, but you still want to tell Amazon that you want customers who enter those keywords to find you, you can put them here in the search terms bar. You don't need any punctuation, so you don't need any like commas or anything like that or full stops. It doesn't need any capitalization either, and you don't need to put in like variations of the spelling. So you just put them in one long line separated by a space, and I think there's a 200 character limit, so you might not be able to fit all of them. So like I said before, your main keywords are going to be written into your like vital info and your description areas, and this is just for any keywords that you can't fit in to your copy. With platinum keyword and target audience, these tend to be more redundant features now, so you don't need to fill these out. So it's just the search terms section here that you need to fill out. And then finally, you'll have your more details. So all of this information is completely compulsory. When you create your shipping plan, which we go over in a different video, Amazon will ask you what the weight is of the individual products and what its dimensions are, like the length, the width, diameter, etc. So it will pre-fill these for you during that process. But if you want to save yourself some time, you can start filling it out now. A lot of these fields may not apply to you, so wattage won't apply to my hose pipe, but obviously would for an electronic product. So you can just go through here, see if there's anything that you feel that your customer may want to see. A common one could be you could put in something like the material that it's made out of. There'll be a section for that there. There's a safety warning section if you want to, if there's a product that, I don't know, say you had a cup or something, a drinking cup that had hot water in it, you could put something like, just be careful of using hot water with this product, something like that. It doesn't have to be anything particularly special. And that's it. So have a look through that. Again, this is all optional information, so you can add as much or as little as you want. And there we are. That is literally the basic listing process. So once you've done all those sections, you'll then have the yellow button will highlight. So that hasn't highlighted for me. So so I can check what the issue is. If you go back up to the top, you can see here a quick glance. There's a triangle next to vital info. So if you click on that, and you can see that it's detected that the number that I put in was made up, so it's probably too long. So once if I put in a correct EAN number, it would recognize that, and then it will let me save and finish. So yeah, if it doesn't let you save and finish, you just need to check your top tabs here to see what the problem is. And as soon as you've done that, it should let you save and finish. So once you've got that listing saved, you'll get a message to come up, take you back to the Amazon Seller Central front page. And then what you'll want to do is hover over inventory and click on manage inventory. And then within 15 minutes, you should see your product there in the inventory. And it'll be obviously blank, it'll be because we've only just filled out the most basic information. However, that will give you the ASIN number, which is the catalog number for Amazon, which means you can start sending in your products. You can create a shipping plan. And you can edit your listing as much as you like. It takes about 15 minutes for changes to be updated. So what I would recommend you do is get a basic listing set up first, like I've just shown you, send in your products to FBA, and then while you're waiting for your products to be up, checked into the FBA process, you can do some editing on your listing and get that optimized during that sort of 2-week period. So guys, that's creating the basic listing. Hope that all made sense. If you're stuck on anything, obviously get in touch, but I hope that helped. So for now, take care. See you in another video.